She was laying there just screaming in pain.
Families put their trust and spend thousands of dollars every month on long-term care and memory homes, expecting their loved ones to be safe, comfortable, and treated with dignity. But one Bend woman says that trust was shattered. She claims her mother suffered neglect inside Desert Sage Memory Care facility, and now she's taking legal action.
This is going to keep happening. It happened to little Celia. Same thing. Well, she didn't die here. I mean, kind of like it didn't matter that the precursor to her being in the hospital and dying was their negligence.
Problem solver Matthew Draxton investigates the lawsuit and what Kerrigan hopes others can learn from her painful experience.
It was a hot day in Central Oregon. The sun was shining and temperatures were reaching over 90 degrees. Now, while most people would be indoors, Nancy Kerrigan says her 90-year-old mother was not.
My mom was found out in the courtyard. She had fallen. She was unattended. She had second-degree burns. She had a temperature of 101 when they got her to the hospital. She was laying there just screaming in pain.
Kerrigan recalls it being so hot her mother's nylon pants had burned a waffle pattern into her legs. Desert Sage Memory Care allegedly first tried to downplay the role of heat exposure. She says they told her it was about the fall, not that Doris was alone outside in dangerous heat.
I was appalled at was that they couldn't even bring themselves to say, we're sorry that this happened to Doris. And these are the things that we're looking at to change.
You might remember our previous Problem Solver reporting on Desert Sage when it went by the name Aspen Ridge. Back in 2024, resident Celia Hess died after having heat stroke from being left outside with temperatures nearing 100 degrees. As for Kerrigan, she had a lot of questions for management after Hess's death.
She tried to tell me that, oh, well, that's all fake news. All fake news. And I said, well, what about the sign in the front door? Oh, well, we're going to be suing the state over that.
The Hess family is now suing the facility and its parent company, alleging she was unsupervised in the sun for hours while understaffed workers struggled to keep up. Kerrigan tells the Problem Solvers she's taking the facility operators and owner to court as well.
This is another tragic example of a memory care facility owned by a big, huge national corporation that put profits in front of patient safety.
Attorney Jason Kafoury represents families in both cases and says internal whistleblowers describe a troubling pattern when state regulators leave.
In both the Hess case and the current case, the staffing at these big, huge multinational corporations would go up, but only when state regulators came.
In Kerrigan's mother's case, the lawsuit claims that the facility was negligent in allowing use of the courtyard when the temperature was extremely high, in failing to monitor the courtyard, having insufficient staffing, failing to provide shade or seating, and not having a high temperature weather policy or an individualized care plan for Howard.
The massive consolidation of big, huge multinational corporations that are buying up various healthcare clinics. The consolidation leads to cost cutting. The sad result is people are suffering.
At Desert Sage, Kerrigan says red flags appeared long before the day her mother was rushed to the hospital. Broken fixtures in her mom's room, buckling floors, and what she calls a hospice first mentality.
Several times I was asked to have my mom evaluated for hospice. As a matter of fact, 4 times.
Why? What was the justification for that?
Because she was going to be there eventually.
She says staff told her physical therapy for residents like her mom was a, quote, waste of time and money. And instead of using memory care techniques to redirect Alzheimer's behaviors, they relied on medication without informing Kerrigan.
This isn't like traditional health care by any means. It's a business, and business have owners and shareholders, and they need to produce profit.
Kerrigan believes society as a whole could do better in caring for the elderly. Do you think it's a cultural thing?
Well,
like we as a culture don't prioritize elder health?
Well, I don't think we think about it. I didn't.
Kerrigan moved her mother to a different memory care facility following the incident. She says the difference was immediate. More staff, more activities, and a focus on her mom as a person, not just a patient.
She's gained weight and she's eating and she's where the action is, and the care providers there are just absolutely fantastic. So she's engaged with activities and she's got her full personality back.
Now, Kerrigan has joined the growing number of Oregon families turning to the court, hoping litigation will force change in an industry that cares for the state's most vulnerable residents.
If you're going to take someone's money and say you will promise to take care of their elderly family member, if you don't do that, you're going to be held accountable in a public way.
Kerrigan says she's never believed in lawsuits until she felt she had no other way to protect her mom.
What is your biggest thing holding them accountable?
In the lawsuit, yes, I would like to get justice from my mother because she suffered a lot of things during the time.
Accountability not just for her mother, but for others who don't have advocates or can't themselves.
You have to be an advocate. You know, if you think that there's possibly abuse or neglect, contact Adult Protective Services. We need to give them the best quality of life for however long their life is.
Kerrigan repeatedly expressed gratitude for the hardworking caretakers at Desert Sage Memory Care and the current facility her mother's at, but she emphasizes the need for higher standards of care and better managerial support for those caretakers. Desert Sage owners and operators Ava Marie and Already Living did not respond to my request for comment regarding the lawsuit. In Bend, Matthew Draxton, KTVZ News.